Thanks.
Okay. I think we're getting started. I don't want anyone to be a hunchback of Notre Dame. Are you good?
I'm good.
You're settled?
Let's rock and roll, baby.
Okay. You guys, I have said in the past that I've wanted to intro my guests because usually I just jump in and then we start talking and then halfway through I'm like, wait, nobody knows who you are. And like technically this podcast is for me. Like this is for me, you know, it's like an audio book of my life, but I'm also trying to expand my audience. And if they don't know who I'm talking to, that's confusing. So I have a quick intro for this lovely, gorgeous guest in front of me. Time for a story. Sit back, relax. One day, my good friend Tara from Virginia Tech texted me that her friend from Dallas was moving to New York City, Michael Parker. She said she wanted us to hang out. Before I could ask her, she took the words out of my mouth and said that she promised that he was amazing and not a waste of my time. As someone who openly protects my peace, the people I spend my time with is always chosen with intention. I met Michael for sushi in the East Village. We talked for about 3 hours, and by talked, I mean we gabbed and we laughed. I bet you're thinking to yourself, wow, Dana, this is amazing that Tara introduced you to your husband. No.
Well, yes.
Yeah, I literally wish. Michael and I are fully compatible for each other except the fact that women are just not his suitors. Michael moved from Dallas to New York less than a year ago and never says no to a new opportunity. He approaches life with a zest and an open mind and is someone you want in your corner. Meeting new friends in your 20s can be difficult, but is also so important and special when it clicks. Michael has quickly become a constant in my life, and I'm forever grateful that I was introduced to him. Michael, welcome to Not That Deep.
Wait, it's not that deep.
I think that it's really easy to like find yourself in a pattern of routine, and routine is beautiful.
It is.
But
it can also be bland sometimes.
And it can be a little restricting of like, wait, I need to be in bed by this time. And if I do this, then I'm not going to be able to do that. And like learning when to give and take. My one friend, Erin Rafferty, told me this thing, which isn't that revolutionary, but I really thought it was. We all have a pie.
Okay.
Picture a circle, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say it's a little piece family, it's a little piece friends, it's a little piece work. And then let's say you want to add something. Let's say you want to add a sports team. This is a really simple example. Okay, well, one of those pieces has to get smaller in order to add. So when you keep adding and adding and adding, other things are getting smaller. But what if you're getting smaller? What if your you time is getting smaller?
100%.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely one of the biggest differences between introverts and extroverts and extrovertive introverts and introvertive extroverts and all the different quadrants that you want to sit in is that some people, those other things are their you time. In the aspect of like, I feel like a lot of times I get energized spending time with other people, but I guess the you time is how you define it. Is you time to yourself, or is you time for you to recharge?
Is Michael Parker's you time being with other people?
100%.
That's so interesting. So you are a extroverted extrovert or just an extrovert?
I think I'm just an extrovert. I definitely feel like I've come to appreciate time to myself, and like when I'm going to the gym and just like putting my headphones on and like crushing it for my 45 minutes that I try to do. But I definitely like I come away from spending time with people feeling more energized. I don't feel drained.
That's so interesting. What if it doesn't drain you, but it also doesn't, you still need, I'm using myself as an example. I'm like, fine, the elephant in the room, it's me. Like I recharge by being alone.
For sure.
But being with people also recharge. Like, oh my gosh, I'm having trouble with my words because it's like, it sounds weird because I am such an extrovert and I love people and I get energy from that.
Yeah.
But then I almost need to be by myself to recharge.
I think that's an extroverted introvert. Like you still need your alone time, but I'm also not a psychologist, so I don't know what I'm really talking about.
Yeah, but you're Michael fucking Parker. Like I believe you. I think that it is that I think that is an extrovert introvert, but it's just weird because
It also can be the people that you're spending time with, because I'm a big believer that some people recharge and some people drain.
People's I'm like, and that's on protecting your peace.
Yes.
I feel like this year I've been so focused on like protecting my peace, and like there is a beauty in saying yes to everything.
And there's a beauty to saying no. I'm on my no journey.
Oh my God, Michael.
I know. Can you believe it?
But are you on your yes? But talk to me, because like has that shifted since you moved here? Do you feel like you were just saying yes to shit that like you felt like you, because I would imagine it's a lot of pressure to move to a city where you don't know anyone, you feel like you need to be doing a million things.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely say that when I first moved, I was so excited to be just doing something every night of the week. I felt like I was paying so much in rent that I needed to just be making the most of every second. And I definitely, not even just like being in New York, I think just also like being in my later 20s, saying no allows me to say yes in other ways. And so I think that's something where, not in the way of like looking for the next best thing, but you know, you don't have to go to every single wedding that you're invited to. You don't have to go to every single thing that you're invited to. If at the end of the day, there's definitely days where you are like, I need to just go home from work and literally crawl into bed. Or, you know, I can't be there at this time because I really should actually go to the gym, and then I can meet you there after. And I think it's like no, but sometimes it also is just no. And that's okay. And that's something I'm learning. And I'm thankful for people in my life who have called me out on that. Not called me out, but encouraged with love.
Were they like, you are running yourself to a grain of sand? Like,
no, I think they were more so like, you're stressing out about saying no. And everyone else is all like, the world says no, and that's okay.
Last Tuesday they said no.
Yes, they said no.
They said no, not no and. When your friend comes to you with that feedback, do you take it? At first, were you like, damn?
I think it was very liberating. I definitely felt like, you're right. I don't have to say yes to everything, because I'm also living for myself. And just like you said, like it's protecting pieces of the puzzle or pieces of the pie. And by saying no, you are holding that percentage. And that's sometimes a good thing.
And you're holding it, whether it's for yourself or whether it's for another piece of the pie that you would be able to give more to if you kept it like safe and secure.
100%.
100% of the pie. I love that. I think
I like that analogy a lot. I think that's...
Oh, she changed my life. She thinks I'm joking. I keep texting her and I'm like organizing my pie a little bit. And she's like, okay, what?
No, I think that's like a really good check that people should be doing more often.
Like, where are you? Look at your 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Almost on a Sunday, like, where do you want to be spending your time?
Exactly.
Like, some of it can't really change that much, right? Like, work is kind of set.
Yeah. But I mean, even like sleep. Like, sleep is an important piece of the pie.
Mm-hmm.
That some weeks happens more often than others. And that's okay.
If you're like, I want to go to X amount of comedy shows or to the House of Yes. I burped, God forbid. Like, okay, now my sleep is going to suffer a little bit. But like, is it worth it for that amount of time to then recharge the next week?
For sure. I think accountability is an amazing thing. And I think it's something that we all should be doing more often.
You need to check in with yourself. Like, you need, because who else is, everyone is worried about themselves. If you're worried about pleasing other people, who is looking out for you?
100%. I also think just like documenting things and being able to see growth is huge. A year ago, I was on a soul searching trip and was backpacking Europe for 6 weeks. And so I've been having a lot of fun the last 2 weeks, like reading I journaled every single day I was there. And it's so funny, like reading back just a year ago of like, I have no idea where my life is going to be. Like, I'm just doing crazy shit in Europe. And now I'm like, oh, I manifested a lot of what I would hope would be my life would be. And we did it in a year. So
that like,
let's go.
That like literally makes me teary eyed because like, I also was just talking about this last week of the importance of, you need to listen to the last episode. Like, I literally verbatim said what you just said, that the importance of journaling and seeing your growth, because
For sure.
seeing your handwriting of like, oh my God, I wrote that a year ago and here I am today, and he'd be so proud of me. Like, what if you hadn't gone on that trip? Like, do you think that everything would be different? Do you think you would have been able to kind of find your footing still?
No. I mean, I definitely used it as I was just absolutely exhausted from my last job. And so I kind of used it as like a time of catharsis to cleanse myself of the stress of that just kind of like nonstop work and anxiety. Because I knew that if I immediately just started applying for other jobs, I would not be bringing like my full self or best self to that new position. And so I just took 6 weeks, didn't plan anything really. I flew in and out of Madrid and was like, all right, I don't know where I'm going to sleep tomorrow, and did that for 45 days straight. Met some amazing people. Definitely was a season of a lot of yes. But absolutely would not change it for the world. And I think it really helped me have a much greater understanding of how I, at this point in my life, react to strangers, react to, a lot of uncomfortable situations, really have to just solve things on the spot myself, because there was no one else there that I knew. So, absolutely amazing. Could not recommend it more. I know not everyone has the opportunity to do that, but it was really, really incredible.
That is incredible. And also, what, like a transitive time? Transformational time. Thank you, Michael. When I'm here, I'm just like stuttering by myself. Transformational time, because it almost like bridged you from where you were to 100%. Where you are.
I got back and said I have to apply for jobs and make some money again.
That was going to be my next question, was, were you ready to be done? Like, you felt like you did it, I'm good? Or was a part of you like, I could do this for a bit longer?
I was very tired. I think if I had done it differently, I could have done it longer. But because I knew I only had 6 weeks, I felt like I really did like pedal to the metal. Spent a little bit longer in Berlin than I probably should have. And my soul was tired. So my soul was tired. My body was tired. I was ready to sleep in a real bed. And I slept in a hostel the entire time. So it was great. I absolutely loved it. And I think at that point, it probably was like, I was doing it at 26. Was like the oldest that I could pull it off, staying in hostels for that long straight without my body completely falling apart.
And like your sanity.
And my sanity. I mean, there was times I was staying with like 33 people in the same room. Yeah, gag.
No, like that is so
But memories, like so much fun.
That is so privileged of me to be like, that's disgusting. Because when you go abroad, you don't have like the fame and fortune at your hand. Like you stay where you can stay, but also you're alone. So it's not like you need to consult someone else to be like, are you good if we stay here? Like if Michael's good, then Michael's going.
Exactly. So it was chaos, but it was great.
Was your favorite spot Berlin?
I loved Madrid. I loved London. Amsterdam was beautiful. Berlin was great. Absolutely. I feel like I talk about Berlin the most because culturally it felt the most different in nightlife, in the creativity, in the queerness, in the arts of it all. But I was surprised that the Germans were actually the most friendly, I felt, of like the actual native people. So
that is interesting.
It was great.
I wonder if that's a common experience people have, or if you're just unique.
I don't know, but
I don't picture London.
I'll take the experience that I had. Yeah, I don't think like people in the UK are wonderful, but I feel like a lot of times they are not very receptive to Americans.
Yeah, but also like you're you. Like of course everyone's gonna be like, yes, Michael. like
we're making friends for sure.
I can just picture you taking over Berlin, and they're like, "Where's that hot American?" And they're like, "He left already. He's back to corporate."
Yeah. I definitely gotten to stay in touch with a lot of people I met traveling, though, which is amazing. I was actually talking to a bunch of the friends I met in Paris a year ago today. We were all sending pictures like, miss you guys.
Oh, how did you guys meet?
Just at the hostel bar. It was one of the guys' birthdays, and so we were throwing him a little birthday party of someone we'd met 45 minutes before, and that's backpacking for you.
Were other people alone too, or were they?
Yeah, everyone was just traveling on their own. It was people from Scotland, other people from the U.S., Brazil. Really, really, really awesome.
When you're out there, are you checking in with your family every day, or were you like, I'm eat, praying, and loving, don't talk to me?
At the beginning, I definitely was like a daily check-in, and then it would sometimes become like 3 or 4 days if it was just making friends and having a blast. And my mom would be like, "Hey, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've been having so much fun. I just didn't even have time to be like, here's the photos of the day." So it was very silly. It was a silly time.
That sounds silly. And I feel like you'll be able to do that again too. Like once.
Let's manifest that. I would love that.
Where's your freaking journal, Michael?
I need to be journaling more in my normal day-to-day. Good reminder of that.
My hand like cramps up when I journal.
Well, I also sometimes like type to journal.
Oh,
I love a good
smart.
like notes app journal because then you can throw photos and stuff in there too.
Oh my God. That's really
and
smart.
screenshots and just like little things.
Oh. And then do you print it?
I could.
Wait, I feel like you should print it in case like the internet goes or something. Wait,
You're not wrong.
Wait, I really like that. I never even thought to do that because I'm always like, my hand is cramping, Mrs. Puff, which I said last time. Like,
Oh, 100%. I feel like my handwriting has also gone to absolute shit since it probably peaked like junior year of high school.
handwriting was taken so seriously.
Oh, 100%. I lived for it.
Did you guys have to learn script?
Yes. But I feel like it kind of died off after like 5th or 6th grade. They
Yeah.
don't even teach that anymore.
Damn, they were tough on us. Like, I remember being
Oh,
in first
100%.
grade. Like, what is the problem here? Like, teach me how to do my taxes. Like, what are we doing script for?
You know, I look back at a lot of school and laugh. I'm like, what were they teaching us? I have not used chemistry or calculus at all.
Interesting, because I was just thinking the other day, sometimes I feel like I learned more in like middle and high school than I did in college. Agree or disagree?
Well, I think there's definitely things that are integral to just like understanding of the world that definitely is taught in middle school and high school. I think there's also, I feel like in college I learned a lot of like experiential things like that I use a lot more today. So like actual problem solving of like people to people interaction, problem solving, creativity. But I think a lot of that came from like student organizations and that sort of thing, as opposed to actually like in the classroom.
Yeah,
In the classroom, college, not a lot.
yeah, like I just couldn't tell you what I learned. Like I don't know. But yeah, like the clubs that we were a part of, and I want you to talk about your a cappella group. Fucking love this.
So I was in a all-male a cappella group called Open Fifth. And there was about, over the course of 4 years, probably anywhere from like 18 to 22 of us. Great group of young men. We recorded music videos, launched, released several albums, would tour the country and do like multi-city tours, had brother and sister groups across the U.S. It was a vibe. It was very, very funny and silly looking back at it. I loved it.
I'm obsessed. I don't know why. Like, we had that, but I remember, and they would come. You would like seduce sororities. I remember you said.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Yeah, like that.
Serenade, I feel like is a better word, a little bit less aggressive, but yeah, seduce.
Sorry.
We wanted you to feel like you were the only girl.
You were literally doing One Less Lonely Girl, Justin Bieber edition.
100%. I think that was actually in a repertoire.
I remember we would always be like, oh, where's the hot one? Because there was like a couple groups on campus, but only one of them had this one hot guy. And he would come and we'd all be like, I feel like he looked at me and like he definitely had no interest in any of us.
So when you were in college, did you guys ever use the term facey?
Tell me what that is. No.
Okay, so part of our secret sauce when we were doing auditions was what someone's faciness was. And basically it's like, how outgoing is this person / how likely would you be to leave them in a room like of women and like be able to hold their own and like serenade and like make them feel special, like in a beautiful way. But it's just like overall looks and like presentability to the world. And so that was literally one of the things that we would measure like auditions on, is like, is this person facey?
The goal was to be facey.
The goal was to have a good balance of facey and actual musical talent. So each incoming class had to have a little bit of everything, but it was hilarious. It was
Like,
very pitch perfect.
Yeah, like that's so funny though. Like that stuff you don't know about unless you're in it. Like I'm hearing this, like us sororities, like we would put up pictures of the girls that were rushing and be like, is she getting in? Yes or no? And we'd be like, no, she's ugly. Like it was horrible. Meanwhile, you guys are like, do they have a solid balance of faciness but actual talent?
Is he able to hold a harmony?
Yeah. While holding the hearts?
Exactly.
You're facey.
Thank you.
Yeah, but you know you are.
I wasn't bringing the musical talent, I can tell you that.
Michael, you were a personality hire, a facey hire.
No, it was a fun era of life. I definitely feel like it was great because we got to meet so many people, like performing all around campus. And I mean, we did tours through like Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus, Chicago. It was Cleveland. We did a lot of Ohio.
Was your big that I met? Oh wait, hold on, my microphone. That was your big that I met. Was he your fraternity big or your a cappella big?
You met my
I thought
business fraternity little.
Jesus
Matt.
Christ. Okay.
Shout out Matt.
Shout out Matt. Yeah, you have a lot of groups.
I love a social organization.
And they love you because like it's just better once you're in it. Are you a part of any groups right now in New York besides like being the social butterfly that you are, or are there any that you want to get involved in? I'm trying to pitch you to be a part of the gay men's choir.
I have recently started a book club
Michael.
with my friend CG, who lives across the street. She was my tour guide manager in college.
Oh my
we
God.
literally bumped into each other on her way to F45.
Were you walking backwards like tour guides do?
No, I was walking forward.
Damn it.
But we have had 2 very successful book clubs so far, which really was more of like a wine and yap group therapy type of situation. But chef's kiss, we already have our book picked out for December, so it's in good vibes.
What are you reading?
The next book we're reading is called The Measure, and basically the concept of it is that one day everyone in the world wakes up and there's a box on their front porch, and inside of the box is a string with a length, and that dictates how long your life is going to be. And so basically it's the existential question of, do you open the box? And if you do, like, do you let a short string marry a long string? Do you let a short string become president?
Oh my God.
I know. I'm excited for the conversation. Would you want to know?
You could have a whole conversation before you even read the book.
I know.
Wait.
The book follows like 8 different people, everywhere from like your normal person to like the president to like a doctor, whatever. But let me pose the question
Michael,
to you.
I love you posing me a question.
Would you open the box?
Okay, like if everyone around me is opening the box. No, I'm actually not going to give into peer pressure. I wouldn't.
Okay.
I would just make a conscious effort to live each day like my string is about to run out.
Is that what you do now?
Yes.
A fucking vent to that.
I want you to tell me what you would do.
Yeah, I think ignorance is bliss for sure. I'm with you. I think like living each day, maximum effort, but maximum effort means something different. But living life to the fullest is definitely something I think that's key. And I think actually, like, can I pull this into what my
Oh please,
topic was?
I think that's a gorgeous transition.
My like not so deep. Not that deep, sorry. Not that deep.
Michael, like you basically came up with this podcast.
I know. Thought was that growing up is not that deep.
I mean, open the can of worms, please.
And so I think part of it is like the beauty of life is like tapping into like childlike wonder for as long as you possibly can. And people that live like the most like purpose-driven, like fulfilling lives are the ones who live like children basically until they die.
I love that so much. Like just because you're not physically a child anymore doesn't mean that you can't approach life with that same wonder and
Yeah.
like joy and surprise.
Yeah, 100%. I was at a wedding this past weekend, and the officiant was saying that the greatest gift in like finding your person is finding someone who brings you back to like the things you used to love to do as a child, whether it be building a fort, having a picnic, just like giggling over silly things. Like that is living a fulfilling life, as opposed, and mind you, like there are things that we definitely have to be responsible for, but that doesn't mean that we can't have like childlike wonder, still in the various things that we do. So this past summer was LKS, Little Kid Summer, and that was my theme for the summer. And it was definitely fulfilled. A lot of biking, a lot of just laying out in Central Park, some ice cream. It was great.
What even is being an adult?
That's a good question. I would argue going to Core Power. No one needs to do that. That's torturing yourself for no reason.
Going to Core Power is the
And
adult
spending
version.
$45 to do it? No.
Michael, going to Core Power is the adult version of the Chokey from Matilda.
1,000%.
Why are you submitting yourself to torture? Wait, that is so freaking good. Like, right, like providing for yourself. There's like all like, I think a big difference between like child and adult is like who's providing for who. Like when you're a child, like you have things given to you, you're kind of taken care of. And then when you become an adult, like circle of life, you kind of start taking care of your parents and providing your parents, and like you provide for yourself and for others. But like there's so much more to both parties.
Yeah, and I think a lot of, kind of going back to like the measure concept we were talking about is at the end of the day, everyone still only has one string, depending on what you believe. But let's just say for this lifetime, you have one string. So regardless of the length, like for our parents, for our grandparents, like it's still their first time. And I think that's kind of an overall concept of everyone's just trying their best. Like it's important to laugh. It's important to love. It's important to fail. It's important to learn. And community is like really, really critical. But I think, so many people talk about their childhood as being, because it is such a hugely, building and critical and influential time. But I think that a lot of people lose like that sense of wonder, of like, wow, the sky is beautiful today. Or like the breeze feels great. Or like this song is amazing. Like I want to dance to it. Like, okay, like pop off, like do that. I'm going to sing at karaoke as loud as I can, whether I'm on key or off. I think little kids are not afraid to fail and not afraid to speak their mind. And then unfortunately we, as a society today, kind of restructure how people think to be afraid and to become self-conscious of, all the other thoughts and influences around us. Just be little kids, have fun. Let's go play. Do you want to go play, Dana?
I want to go play hopscotch. And
Do you want to go ice skate?
yeah, we were going to go ice skating. I love everything that you just said. I think there's so much, the adverse to that is that there's so much like bad in the world trying to drown out all the good.
100%.
To remain grounded in that good and like finding a reason to laugh. Someone told me to write a gratitude list tonight, and I was like, bitch, I've been writing that since 2018. Like, get out of here. But gratitude lists, like, what are you grateful for? We take so much for granted. Like, we're able to like hear each other and look at each other.
Yeah. And I think that, as quote unquote adults now, or as older children, I think we do constitute as adults now. We stress about so much, and so much of it's also like out of our control. And I think that's one of those things where, it's not that deep. Like, live life, go play with your friends. It's going to be okay.
What's your favorite like thing to retort to if you want to like unlock that inner child of you? Like, what are you going to do if you're like,
something that I've been doing a lot lately is a lot of like Mario Kart.
do you have a Nintendo 64?
I have a Nintendo Switch. That was one of my purchases for myself this year. That has been wonderful.
Oh, you spoil yourself.
I recently got Mario Party Jamboree
Okay.
vibe. So fun.
What character are you picking?
I play as Toad. Gregory plays as Toadette.
Oh, Toadette.
Toadette's a vibe.
Wait, who's the baby toad? Oh no, I'm thinking of baby Yoshi.
Baby
So
Yoshi.
cute with the little mushroom cap.
Yeah. Last week when we collectively as people were going through it, I was watching a lot of animated movies. I love the Sing movies.
Oh
Sing
my
1 and 2 make me cry every single time. Just because of like the beauty of the simplicity of community and music and how people are impacted by song.
When that motherfucking gorilla.
Oh, I know.
No, like I could cry, like that voice, and I know that the gorilla doesn't actually sound like that when he sings, but like I'm not a dumbass.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
The power. Also, like to feel so connected to an animated character that is so childish in the most beautiful way.
Yeah, so I'm a big believer in spoiling yourself sometimes with some good childhood throwbacks.
Nintendo Switch, that is a good one. I like that. I feel like just right, like giggling or being an adult is not just like going to the bar and drinking. Like I think that there's so much more.
I could not agree more. There's a lot of world to see.
Like I don't want to miss it because you're so worried about, for so many years I feel like it's like I just want to grow up. Actually, this is an interesting one. I think a lot of people when they're growing up are like, I can't wait until I'm 18. I can't wait until I'm 21. I can't wait until I'm 25. I never felt that way. I always was like, oh, I wish it was last year again. Not because I regretted anything, but because I had so much fun.
Yeah.
That I would always just want to keep like doing it and doing it and doing it and like valuing the time that I'm going through right now, but also like not, it's almost like mourning
Something while you're in the moment of it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like,
No, 100%.
So
Yeah.
like,
I think it's nostalgia, but I also think that something that I definitely feel, and one of the things I love about you as a person, and I feel connected to in that way, is that it is really like hard to mourn something while it's happening. It's like, oh, this is a fucking amazing moment. Like, it's never going to happen this same way again. But I think that's also what makes it so beautiful. It's like the rawness of that, and leaning into the beauty of, okay, even if this does happen again, it's not going to, like, you know, I think of like a trip. Like you have a great trip with your friends and it's like an amazing 4 or 5 days and you hit that like last day and you're like, oh, like guys, we have to plan the next one. Well, like no one's going to, yes, do the trip again. It's amazing. But like no one's going to be in the same place of life they were this time that allowed the magic to happen. Doesn't mean there's not going to be magic again, but someone could be in a relationship and there's a new person added. Someone could have a change of job and like not be able to afford the trip and like they're not there. So many different iterations of like what it could be. But I think that's one of those, you know, when my life motto, it's like on my bio of my Instagram, is me encanta este momento, which means I love this moment.
oh
And
God.
I was at my uncle's wedding when I was a senior in high school, and met a bunch of Colombians that were teaching my brother and I how to salsa for like 5 days straight. They spoke like no English. It was wild. We had the best time. First time ever in my life that I dreamed in Spanish. My hips have never hurt so bad. Like this like gyroscopic, like it was nuts. But as we were like dancing on the back of the boat the last night, this girl was like, "Me encanta este momento." And I was like, oh, if I love this moment and the next moment and the moment after that for the rest of my life, however long it may be, that's a pretty damn good life in my opinion.
I'm literally like bawling my eyes out. Like,
I'm loving this moment with you,
like,
Dana.
I want you to propose to me so bad.
I love you.
I love you so much. I really love you. That was so beautiful. You have such like an amazing way with words that I can't even comprehend. But like, I just want you to keep talking at me. You don't have to.
We're gonna do the midnight version.
Oh my God, Michael. No, that's so main con. Would you ever get a tattoo?
Yes, and I've thought about getting that one. I have a couple thoughts of different ones. I don't have any to date, but definitely open to it. Would you?
No, and it's not even because I'm Jewish. Like Jews don't really get tattoos because you can't get buried in a Jewish cemetery. I don't think I would want one. But that's really beautiful. Everything that you just said. And touching on that also is like, to feel like sadness after something happens because it was so amazing is like one of like the worst feelings, but also one of the best feelings. Like, you know, that come down after.
Oh, 100%.
And it's like, I think there's a quote that's like, how lucky am I to have something so beautiful to say goodbye to or something.
Can I reference a quote that I saw last week that I thought was absolutely beautiful?
Yeah.
That plugs into all of this.
I'd be insulted if you didn't.
Okay. So last week, someone posted this on their Instagram story. I don't exactly know who it was.
Let me like snort into the microphone
But
more.
the quote I saw was, "The grief is never ending, but so is the love."
Oh, I love that.
And I think if that doesn't sum up the human experience, I don't know what does.
Oh my God. No, that's like, I love that. Who posted that?
I don't know. I think it was something that it was kind of going around on a bunch of people's stories.
Like how
If we figure it out, we'll put it in the put
No.
it in the podcast notes.
I want the podcast notes, like literally like only my dad. I looked at my comments today for my podcast and it was just like my dad being like rock star. And I'm like, anyone else? I'm like, thanks for the support. Again, it's special. Michael, that was such a good, I feel like I want you to host my podcast moving forward.
No.
I think that you have such a gift of connecting and empathy, and you have such a good gauge on people. Like, you
Thank
would have
you.
never got into a stranger's van when you were young, you know?
Or if I did, we'd leave as best friends. I have one more fun translation while we're talking about how things are really beautiful in other languages.
Oh, please.
When I was backpacking, some of the friends I met in Italy, their pickup line, and I can't say in Italian because I don't know, but basically they'd go up to girls dancing on the dance floor and say, "Your father was a robber who went up into the sky, stole the stars, and put them in your eyes." If
And
a
that's
man
why-
said that to me,
I'm pregnant.
if anyone said that to me, it's game over.
But imagine you're like actually at the club and someone says that. It'd be like, what? What'd
If
you
an
say?
Italian man said that to you at the club,
I would say we have to step outside. What did you just say to me? We're smoking a
it's a
cigarette.
ciggy break, exactly.
We're smoking a cigarette. He's telling me these things. And I'm like, I'll get you a green card in a second.
Where's my villa?
Don't call me up. I'm going
Not
out
tonight.
tonight, feeling good, now I'm out of my mind. Michael, this is usually where I cut it. This was so not even unexpectedly beautiful. I knew it was going to be beautiful, but I never know how these things are going to go. Was this your first podcast?
It's my second podcast. The last one I was on was 2020 and was politics driven. Shout out.
You're like on
Across the
NPR.
Aisle. Across the Aisle was the name of that podcast. One of my friends from college. Lucy, shout out.
Shout out Lucy.
Amazing. But no, this was so fun. How was I as a guest?
I thought you honestly went above and beyond. You made me cry twice. Your laugh was there. The most important attribute about you. You were facey, but not too facey.
Was it not that deep?
It was not that deep. Nothing is that deep, but with you, life is always fun, and I appreciate you.
Well,
and I
thank
love
you so much for having me on. It was so fun. I've loved watching your journey as this podcast has grown, and I know that this is just the beginning.
Guys, like, I can't. I love you.
I love you.
Michael.